What if you jumped into a hole through the earth? It all began with a small fox cub named Nilo, who had two great passions in life: reckless science experiments and anything that involved high speeds. Living in the cozy woodland town of Bluewood, Nilo had recently become obsessed with gravity. Not just the regular kind that kept his paws on the ground, but the dramatic, life-altering kind that appeared in documentaries with words like event horizon and spaghettification. One evening, while munching on apple chips and spinning his globe way too fast, Nilo asked the question that would soon shake the entire town, and possibly the planet. What if you drilled a hole straight through the earth and jumped in? Naturally, he couldn't leave it at just a question. Nilo got to work the next morning. With a little help from his dad, who thought they were digging for potatoes, Nilo began his greatest engineering project yet. Using spare parts from old washing machines, 3 scooters, and something suspiciously labeled experimental core drill, do not use, he built a digging robot named Chompy. It was loud, reckless, and very committed to its job. The hole went deep, deeper than anyone thought possible. Through soil, stone, fossils, magma, which was definitely a problem, and on toward the very center of the earth. After several days and a lot of suspicious ground tremors, Chompy pinged back a cheerful message. Reached other side, tunnel complete, please insert fox. So, Nilo did what any reasonable fox cub would do. He put on a helmet, packed a snack, strapped a camera to his tail, and dove in. At first it was fun, like the world's longest water slide, only much, much faster and significantly more vertical. The air grew thin, the pressure grew weird, the speed? Ridiculous. Nilo's ears flapped backwards like streamers in a hurricane. But then came the unexpected part. Nilo had forgotten about Earth's rotation. See, the Earth spins. If you don't spin with it, you start to drift. At first it was a gentle nudge against the tunnel walls, then a full-body thump. Then he started to ricochet like a fuzzy ping-pong ball. And then, silence. Nilo had reached the center of the Earth. The gravity pulled equally in all directions, meaning no gravity. He was weightless, floating next to his apple chips, spinning slowly in the molten dark. For a few blissful seconds, Nilo was the calmest fox in the universe. But gravity, as always, had plans. He began to fall again, this time in reverse. Slower now, as gravity pulled against his momentum. He rose through the tunnel toward the other side of the earth, slowing with every meter. And just as he neared the exit, he stopped. Completely. Then began falling back again. Nilo had become a gravitational yo-yo. Back and forth he went. Not forever. Just a long time. Scientists at the Bluewood Institute for Curious Anomalies watched in amazement as Nilo's camera streamed the loop. Down, float, up, stop, down again. Eventually they sent help. A rescue team with a magnetic claw and a very long cable lowered into the tunnel and gently grabbed his helmet. After some careful maneuvering and more than a few bounces, Nilo was pulled back to the surface, dazed but triumphant. He emerged covered in tunnel dust, holding a single apple chip and with the biggest grin on his face. "So," said the mayor, adjusting his spectacles, "was it worth it?" Nilo nodded slowly. The gravity nap in the center? Totally worth it. The tunnel was quickly sealed, marked with a sign that read, "Do not jump." Seriously. Tourists still came to take pictures. A few bold squirrels asked if they could just peek down it. As for Nilo, he went back to safer experiments, like testing how many balloons it would take to lift a toaster. But sometimes, when the world was quiet and he stood on solid ground, he'd glance down and whisper, "See you again soon, center of the earth."